According to CMPD, it happened on Paw Creek Road right off Freedom Drive overnight. No other information has been released. We'll update you as soon as we learn more.
We are learning more about the young woman who was stabbed to death over the weekend in South End. 23-year-old Irina Zarutska was killed on the light rail. She fled Ukraine to escape the dangers of war. 34-year-old DeCarlos Brown now facing charges in connection to her death. He has a lengthy criminal history. It's still not clear what led to that stabbing and if the two knew each other.
Governor Stein lifting the state of emergency in the Outer Banks. The governor says Hurricane Aaron remained offshore throughout the weekend, so it's no longer necessary. Meanwhile, road crews announcing Highway 12 out on Hatteras now safe for travel.
All right, let's talk about a new accident. We are seeing a lot of backups because of it. It's on the 485 loop right here south of Charlotte. It's at exit 61, Highway 521, and it's backed all the way up to exit 65. So all of that red right there is indicating that stop and go traffic. And then just to the south of it, another ongoing crash. This one here on Lancaster Highway at John K. Hallway. So those two things, keep that in mind for your Tuesday morning commute. Chris.
All right, you can feel it already. It is a beautiful day today. Now, you're going to have at times some cloudier skies, and then other times you're going to have a decent amount of blue sky. So it's a constant changing environment. So overall, we'll wrap it up as a mix of cloud and sunshine. But the bottom line is it feels amazing. We have that less humid air that we're dealing with, not just today, my friends, but also over the next several. It's really not until Saturday that it starts to feel a little bit sticky again. Warmest day in the mid-80s on Friday with a chance for a pop-up storm.
And a reminder, the news doesn't end here. Coming up at 7 o'clock over on WCNC Plus. School's now in session, but drivers, are they ready for back to school rush? The laws a lot of local police fear are being ignored. Plus, the city of Charlotte taking aim at homelessness, how it's investing in the future of some young men. And as the summer winds down, Charlotte folks could score a free AC, how you can take advantage.
That also.
streaming live right now at 7 a.m. right here on WCNC Plus. I'm Ben Thompson.
And I'm Lisa Washington. A live look this morning outside. A beautiful start to your morning. Of course, weather-wise, things are feeling a little bit chilly. Not so much like August. Majestic is going to have a check on your traffic. First, though, we're going to check in with meteorologist Chris Mulcahy to find out more about our forecast for this last week of August.
Well, we got the not humid stamp, and that's going to linger for the next few days. Anytime you're below 60 degrees for your dew points, it's going to allow your temperatures to drop down lower, but then also it just makes us nice and comfy. Feels great as you're heading out the door. We officially just hit 64 degrees starting off the 7 o'clock hour, so that looks like that's going to be our morning low. Some areas drop down to the upper 50s. Morganton, you're still at 59, and then look at you, Boone and Jefferson, into the lower 50s. And today, all in all, is going to be a changing day. It's not completely sunny. It's not completely cloudy. Just different phases of clouds throughout the day. So at times you're going to see more clouds than others. At times you can see more sunshine. Just each hour is changing because you have a lot of back and forth clouds as we have some systems nearby and more moisture actually in the mid levels than what we have here at the surface. So that's going to create some on and off clouds throughout the day. I think the sunniest portion of the day is really going to be closing out the afternoon heading into the evening. Then overnight tonight, it's overall going to be a partly clear one, starting off with more cloud cover tomorrow, but tomorrow looks to be sunnier than what we have today. Let's talk about our lows. I think it's going to be the main story over this week. Well, besides it feeling great and that we are also dealing with a much cooler forecast, but the cooler forecast is also on the umbrella of the lows because we have lower 60s tomorrow, then even a shot at the upper 50s for Charlotte on Thursday. Meanwhile, tonight, we have the 40s kicking off the high country and then even the mid 50s for some of you along the I-40 corridor, and then either side of 60 degrees even as early as tomorrow. So if you're not really on the chilly factor or that crisp air factor for today, definitely going to be feeling a little bit more by tomorrow and the day after. And then after that, we are anywhere from 59 to 63 degrees over the next 7 days. It's not until about day 5 of September that we start to have some near normal lows overall. So not really a lot to mention. There's a better chance for an isolated shower or thunderstorm by Friday, but all in all looking pretty good. Quick update on Tropical Storm Fernan. Almost going to be done even mentioning this guy because by later on tonight, or really I would even say as early as this evening, this could be Tropical Depression Fernan, and look at it. It's right in the middle of the northern Atlantic. No big issue there, and we have no other active tropical waves that the National Hurricane Center is monitoring because it's typically this time of year any sort of development near the United States can completely change up a 7-day forecast like what I have behind me. But there's a couple of notes that I want to get through. We have the lower 80s over the next 3 days. Tomorrow's my pick of the week because I think it has the sunniest sky. More clouds for your Thursday. Back to the mid 80s on Friday, but most days are in the lower 80s, anywhere from 80 to 83. And for this coming holiday weekend, especially Friday, Sunday, and Monday, I have a chance for an isolated shower or thunderstorm, but we have no really dominant chances for rain or storms over the next 7 days. All in all, not too bad, but certainly a well below normal end to the month of August and really still below normal start to September. That's your weather report. Now let's get over to our first check of traffic with Majestic. Start off WCNC Plus.
Good morning, everyone. It is our Tuesday, and here's a live camera view if you are heading out the door, whether you're taking those kids off to school or maybe you're just getting yourself to work. Not a bad start to the morning. You can see I-77 right here. Beautiful uptown. Nice dry roadways for that morning commute. I've been keeping a close eye on this, but we have seen some really nice improvements. I think it's almost cleared at this point, but we've been following this accident on I-85 southbound, exit 45A. That's W.T. Harris Boulevard. A little while ago, we had about a 3-mile backup that was all red all the way to 45, but notice at this point we have mainly green, meaning that traffic is moving rather quickly. So I bet that it is really clearing up and you shouldn't have any significant delays. Just to the east of it, though, the left turn lane right now is blocked because of a stalled vehicle. This is on University City Boulevard, northbound at I-485. That yellow meaning yes, there are definitely some impacts there. And right here, an additional crash on Old Concord Road at Tryon Street. So that crash, it's minimal, so one car accident off to the side at this point. But notice to the south of Charlotte, we have some problems right here. Look at all of this red. 485, it's the outer loop right here. There's an accident between exits 61 and 65. Back in your morning commute up about 10 minutes. This is out towards Pine Pineville. And then to the south of it, we have an additional crash here. This time it's on Lancaster Highway at John K. Hall Way. Keeping a close eye on both of those things, but definitely starting to become more busy now that more people are waking up and heading out the door. It's going to take you around 40 minutes if you're coming in from Gastonia, and about 23 if you are coming in from Matthews. I'm not seeing any accidents on Independence right now. We'll give you another check on those roads next time I see you in just a few. Lisa.
All right, Majestic, that sounds good. 7:05 now. Today, family, friends, and NASCAR lovers will say their final goodbyes to legendary promoter Humpy Wheeler. WCNC Charlotte's Richard Devane shares how fans can give their last condolences. Richard.
Yeah, good Tuesday morning to you, Lisa. Good Tuesday morning, everyone. If you want to go out to honor Humpy Wheeler today, you can. If you've been invited, you can attend his funeral service that starts at 11 o'clock this morning at St. Gabriel's Church. We came out here to a place that he called home for so many years. This is a place he grew from next to nothing to what it became, the hub of the NASCAR community. He was known as the master showman of NASCAR, and for good reason. Humpy Wheeler spent nearly 3 decades as president of Charlotte Motor Speedway, turning stock car racing into a spectacle unlike anything fans had ever seen. Born in Belmont, Wheeler's love for racing started young. By the time he took over the Speedway in the late 70s, he had a vision. Along with Bruton Smith, they wanted to make every race bigger, bolder, and unforgettable. From elaborate pre-race stunts to fireworks and military flyovers, Wheeler made sure fans got more than just cars on a track. But his influence reached far beyond the show. Wheeler was a savvy promoter, bringing in major sponsors and helping Charlotte cement its place as the hub of NASCAR. His innovative spirit earned him recognition in multiple halls of fame, including NASCAR's Landmark Award for his lasting contributions to the sport. In his own words, Humpy knew just how to give fans what they wanted.
It's about growing up in the South and then becoming interested in NASCAR, and there's quite a bit of culture in it and about how we live and why Southerners are the way we are, and also why we like stock car racing so much. If you know.
Yeah, and he also said that if you know what fans want and what they like, you know how much to charge them for tickets. He just knew how to get people to come out to NASCAR events and have a good time. Humpy died at the age of 86. He's survived by his wife Pat and his 3 children, grandchildren, and of course a host of fans everywhere who really enjoy what he did for NASCAR. Again, his funeral is today at 11 at St. Gabriel's Catholic Church. Lisa, we'll send it back to you.
All right, Richard, that sounds good. And everyone who has given perspective or shared an experience with him has said wonderful things about this person. So that's, the kind of things that you want said about you when you're not in the room. Those are all the things that we've heard whenever we've mentioned Humpy Wheeler.
That's right. And I remember the one time I met him, it was when he retired. This is back in 2008. And he had us up to his house, interviewed him at his house.
Yes.
Could not have been a more gracious, welcoming guy. And easygoing, and didn't understand the whole hubbub being made about his retirement. But
Right.
it was just a class act when I interviewed him. All right, Richard, thank you.
Some little known facts about Humpy Wheeler. He wrote a memoir called Growing Up NASCAR and the North Carolina Boxing Hall of Fame in 1992. And his voice was in the 2006 animated movie Cars.
Which is perfect when you think about
yes.
it. And all those night races that you see in NASCAR now, that was actually Humpy's idea. The sport's first ever night race was held at Charlotte Motor Speedway back in 1992. They called it One Hot Night. Changed the sport in so many ways that people don't even realize.
Lasting legacy that continues today.
All right, we're back here in just 2 minutes on WCNC Plus.
This morning, we continue to learn more about two CMS parents arrested on the first day of school for bringing weapons on campus at Palisades High School. Officials say detectors within the high school went off, alerting staff. Documents say one parent had a handgun and a box cutter. The other carried a pocket knife. This comes just a week after another incident at the same high school where a student was arrested for allegedly shooting into the school.
I have a deep care for our students and our community, as I think that all of our educators do. And so I think that what you've seen with our data from DPI, we are making great strides in CMS in deterring weapons being brought onto our campuses. And we are doing everything that we can to certainly deter that.
In Burke County, officials tell us a school bus crashed on Hildebrand Mountain Avenue yesterday. Thankfully, none of the 25 students on board were hurt. A second bus picked those students up and completed the route. There's no word yet what led up to that crash.
New school season now in full swing, and that means buses are back on the roads. But police agencies across the state say they are seeing a troubling trend of drivers just passing stop school buses, putting a lot of students at risk.
WCNC Charlotte's Kaylin Hagwood spoke with law enforcement in Gastonia about the dangerous problem.
The flashing red lights and extended stop arm should be a clear signal to drivers to stop. But Gastonia police say too many people are driving right past stop school buses.
The 10 to 15 seconds you save by going around a bus is not worth someone's life, and is not worth the penalty and the possible jail time.
Sergeant Daniel Lane with Gastonia Police says bus drivers first brought the problem to his attention, reporting 5 to 10 violations a week. But it wasn't until officers started following the buses themselves that they saw the scope of the issue.
At first, I didn't think it was as prevalent as it is, but when they started telling me 5 to 10 times a week that's happening, and then I started following them just in 2 days, I witnessed so many people do it.
The rules are clear. If you're traveling in the same direction as a stop school bus, you have to stop. And on roads without a median or turn lane, you have to stop too. Breaking the rules could cost you hundreds, land you in jail, and impact your insurance.
People need to learn how to leave a little bit earlier and take their time getting to work or their destination in the morning.
Charlene Forteau works in Gastonia and says she's happy to see police getting involved.
I feel like it should have been done a long time ago, so I'm glad they're doing it now.
Police also say it's a great idea to talk to your kids about the importance of being especially careful when getting on and off the bus. I think probably this is rather pertinent to you even as we speak.
I've been checking my cell phone.
In the commercial break, she has been texting and calling the kids.
Yeah, because I'm waiting on the notifications for their school buses so we can get that, yesterday you saw my first day adventures, but it's the second day that it's like, all right. We're working on it though.
Behind the scenes, what happens here on WCNC Charlotte, making sure because the two kids are getting on different buses this morning.
Again, because 2 different schools now, 2 different buses, 2 different times. So it's all going to work out. It's all going to be great.
That's right. That's right. All right. We're back here in 2 minutes, right here on WCNC Plus. Governor Josh Stein now lifting the state of emergency in the Outer Banks. The governor says Hurricane Erin remained offshore throughout the weekend, so it's no longer necessary. Meanwhile, road crews announcing that NC Highway 12 there on Hatteras Island now safe for travel.
Summer is not yet over, and if you need help staying cool, city leaders are now giving out free AC units to eligible residents. If you are at or below 60% of the area's median income, you can now register online. Those units will be handed out on Thursday from 9 to 1 at Eastway and Betty Ray Thomas Rec Centers. A valid photo ID is required at pickup. To sign up, head to our website, WCNC.com.
Well, good morning, everybody. So current temperature right now around Charlotte, 64 degrees. You in Monroe, you're actually 66. We're seeing a bunch of different type of clouds. We have some upper level clouds and then some mid-level stratus as well. Those are a little bit lower to the ground, and then we also are dealing with some blue sky and just a better environment with a sunnier start over in Boone. So it just depends where you are. But notice these three different panels. One's mostly cloudy. One's technically partly cloudy to mostly sunny, and then another one partly sunny. So these are just different degrees of what your day can look like, because the sky is going to be ever changing. So that's why I always get away with saying, hey, mixed cloud and sunshine to really describe the day. 66 in Monroe, as I just mentioned, but check out the chillier part of the forecast. You are 59 degrees right now in Morganton, and then 53 in Boone. But Charlotte, if you're looking at Morganton at 59, you could be there a couple days from now. So really seeing a big change there. This is also a big day for a lot of people. It's Pumpkin Spice Day. Yeah, that's right. Local chain that's known for these is officially starting to serve them up for August 26th. And if we had more of a July-like forecast, or even what we had about a week ago, we would have been like, oh, come on. But actually, it's a little bit more fitting with temperatures in the lower 80s, so enjoy it. Tonight, over the next couple of days, we are anticipating that our highs aren't going to change too much. I have a high of 82 today, 81 by tomorrow, and then 80 degrees for your Thursday, but it is going to be a little bit cloudier for that point as well, with some thicker clouds out and about. But we're also going to be avoiding the rain in the short term. But I think my favorite part of the forecast is how you feel, because we have the low level of moisture in the atmosphere. That means I'm not going to be calling it humid, muggy, or even sticky. It's no problem. Oh, that's nice. As far as the range goes, or comfortable, I think is the most mature way of dealing with it. And as we work our way over the next few days, notice the difference. We have 61 to 59 to the lower 60s. Anywhere from 59 to 63 is going to be our lows over the next few days. So, wow, what a forecast. And definitely does not feel like the last days of August. I'm letting you know that. We should be upper 80s, upper 60s. But the lower 80s are our main range for our highs, and either side of 60 degrees are going to be our lows. As far as the rain chances go, and the next time I'm up here talking about whether I'm going to show you a closer look, I'll show you the 3 to 7 day outlook as far as our surface map, what pieces are on the board. But I just think that you have a chance for an isolated storm on Friday, and then heading through the weekend, we have a nearby system that's mainly in South Carolina. So I'll break that down in a little bit more detail, but all you need to know is most days staying dry. As for my pick of the week, the day that looks to be the sunniest and the most comfortable, well, it's actually tomorrow for your Wednesday. Let's get over to Majestic to see how your morning commute is faring. Good morning to you, my friend.
Good Tuesday morning, everyone. I've seen a lot of school buses out there on those area roadways as kids are up and at 'em heading out to school. Make sure you're paying close attention to that as well. You can see this is I-77 moving rather slowly, but you can see it's still beautiful out there, overlooking beautiful uptown. Want to break down a couple of things I want to let you know about. This right here is a crash on I-485. This is impacting those eastbound lanes at exit 61 at Johnston Road. Seeing yellow there, meaning that there are currently some slowdowns, some delays for your morning commute if you typically drive that way. A lane is blocked because of a crash. It's just south of that one. It's on Lancaster Highway at John K. Hall Way. Just to the east a bit, another one, all kind of in the same proximity. This is a crash on Marvin Road at Audrey Kelp Road. So those three things right around the Ballantyne area. And then as we head to the north just a bit, there's an object in the road. We're not sure exactly what it is, but it's on Nations Ford Road at Kingsford Drive. So watch for that. Otherwise, I-77, those inbound lanes are really starting to back up as a lot of people are all heading in the same direction. A new crash right here. It's on Old Concord Road and Tryon Street. And then just to the west, keep this one in mind here specifically. It's on Brookshire Boulevard at Oaksdale Road. All right, Larry, over to you.
Hi, this is Larry Sprinkle. Time for our Tuesday Tail Wagger along with our friends at Animal Care and Control. We're still trying to clear the shoulders. That never ends. Let's talk about today's Tail Wagger. His name is Smokey. Smokey is about 8 years old. You never know it. Weighs around 50 to 55 pounds. Just a sweet dog. Very gentle, well-behaved, knows commands. Great in the backseat of a car and loves to be outside, but he also likes to be close to his forever friend. His name is Smokey. He's available today at Animal Care and Control. They're open Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 7 p.m., Saturday and Sunday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. You can log on to animalclt.org for all of the information. Once again, this is Smokey. He's about 8 years old, weighs somewhere from about 50 to 55 pounds. He's a great dog, and Smokey is our very special Tuesday Tail Wagger.
Well, today marks a big day for man's best friend. It's National Dog Day. Founded 2 decades ago by an animal rescue advocate and dog trainer. Of course, we know dogs. They're the best.
The best.
Unconditional love, exactly when you need them. So perfect day to treat your pooch to a walk, or in Scout's case, a spa day.
Does he like a spa day?
By the way, we didn't really plan that. It just happened to be
Yeah.
spa day.
Did you? Scout knew.
She knew. She was like, that's right.
Does she like the spa days?
Who knows?
She's not like scurrying, like, please don't make me go.
All right, we're talking about it. Let's show some pictures, because it turns out I'm the only one among the four of us who doesn't have, come on, you don't have to rub it in, who doesn't have a dog. We're eventually going to get one, eventually. But look at these. I mean, these are like the perfect pooches. On the left is Romeo, who belongs to the Mulcahy family. How old is Romeo?
Romeo is, let me see, we found him 6, yes, he's going on 7.
7? Okay, perfect. That is the Grand Dame Scout in the middle and all her glory. And look at Annie. Now, Annie doesn't look as large as she is on the right side. That's Majestic's dog. And she's my
She's my 140-pound lap dog.
140 pounds?
She's not a Dalmatian. People think she's a Dalmatian sometimes. I'm like, wow, I must have fed her too much.
I don't even want to know how much you spend on dog food.
You got to work that in the budget.
A lot of dogs.
Gotta love them.
But crickets are so sweet.
Yeah, they're also kind of moody, very vocal, sassy. They say that they're like their owners, but I don't know. I don't know if I would describe myself like that.
Vocal and sassy.
You said it, not us.
That's right. All right, folks, we'll take a quick break as we take a live look right now over Uptown as you get a start to your Tuesday morning. And folks, it's a really nice one out there as well. I think you're going to like it. Stand by. Another check of weather and traffic coming your way right here on WCNC Plus.
Well, good morning, everybody. It's not humid. It actually feels amazing outside, so enjoy this. I'm not going to be using the words humid or muggy for any of the times that you see me here, right here on WCNC Charlotte. 88 to 87, now to 82. So what the drop-off. We're actually going to see a lot of those lower 80s for our highs over the coming days, so check it out. 82, 81, 80 over the next few days. I think we have more sunshine for your Wednesday. Back to the mid-80s on Friday, and it's also on Friday that we start to return our slight chance for a scattered shower or thunderstorm. That's really Friday through your Labor Day weekend, and then temperatures back to the lower 80s before we start to warm up yet again heading into the middle of next week. So not a bad looking forecast to complete the month of August. Let's get over to Majestic. How's it looking, my friend?
Good morning, everyone. It's looking pretty busy across those area roadways as kids are heading off to class and maybe you're heading off to work. We have our typical backup starting to build. I-77, I-85, it's all slow, but we also have a handful of accidents. No major accidents at this time. This one, though, keep this in mind. It's on I-485 eastbound at exit 61. That's Johnston Road, seeing some yellow, meaning that there are some minimal impacts there. And then the lane right here is blocked because of a crash. It's on Lancaster Highway and John K. Hall Way. Join us over on WCNC Plus for more.
Streaming live right now at 7:30 right here on WCNC Plus. I'm Ben Thompson. Charlotte's largest men's shelter is seeing more people in crisis at the same time. We know that federal support for things like that is shrinking. WCNC Charlotte's Destiny Richards now live for us to show us a new housing project opening just in the next month that could offer some relief and in some cases hope as well. Destiny.
Yeah, good morning. By the end of September, what used to be a dorm building here on the King's College campus will be transformed into 64 units of temporary housing for working men and veterans. Roof Above is partnering with the city of Charlotte to bring this new dorm-style housing online, and it's to give these men a stable place to live while they transition out of homelessness. The project was supported with $2.4 million from Charlotte's Housing Trust Fund, and Roof Above leaders say it's an example of how investing in housing can directly reduce homelessness. They also say the timing couldn't be more critical. Roof Above is the city's main men's shelter, and last year alone, it served 24% more people than the year before. Leaders say that surge came as costs climbed and federal funding grew uncertain. The shelter already lost one FEMA program and anticipate more cuts to housing initiatives, including Housing First, a model they say has proven effective in helping people rebuild their lives. Back in March, leaders told WCNC Charlotte they were worried about being stretched thin.
We are seeing more people coming to us in a housing crisis, and so it really feels like a time where we're needing to do more with less resources.
Yeah, but even with those challenges, Roof Above says it's partnerships with the city and the community that lead to real solutions like this housing option. Now, these dorms were officially opened, or they were previously opened during the pandemic through federal funding dollars through the city. And 70% of the men that lived here were able to move out into permanent housing. So they're hoping that permanently opening these as temporary housing will lead to more situations like that in the future. Again, these are set to open at the end of September with an event planned to mark the milestone. That's still TBD on that. I'll send it back to you guys in studio.
And we know finding affordable places to live for a lot of people out there is the city's single most pressing crisis. Destiny Richards reporting live for us here in Charlotte. Destiny, thank you. All right, switching back now to your forecast. Chris Mulcahy standing by with a look at the weather impacts for the day.
Thanks a lot, Ben. Well, it's National Dog Day, and Thor, you are my dog of the day. Good to have you. Today's forecast, if you're walking the pooch out and about, it's 64 degrees right now. A few hours from now, we'll warm up to about 70 degrees, and then we have the upper 70s by about 3 p.m. So not a bad looking day. We have the lower 80s by the middle of the afternoon, and here's the bottom line, not humid. This is a nice range, and tomorrow is even drier, so super comfortable air, but that's of course going to lead to some cooler mornings to come, but this is also putting a stop on any rain chances in the short term. Current temperatures right now, 64 for you in Charlotte and Rock Hill, same temperature in Gastonia, 62 in Hickory and Morganton. You're finally out of the 50-degree club. However, Boone and Jefferson, you're going to be there for a little bit. As far as our futurecast goes, the day is going to be changing, and what I mean by that, it's not bad changes. It's just that we have so many areas of clouds that really these chunks of clouds here on the map are going to be passing, either creating an overcast sky, you have some breaks, seeing a little bit more blue sky. It's just an ever-changing mix of cloud and sunshine, which still creates great moments and a great day overall. And I think we erode a lot of that cloud cover heading into the evening. Could start off tomorrow morning with a few more clouds, but watch Wednesday afternoon. You barely see any of these white specks. That's creating a much, much brighter day, and that's why Wednesday is actually my pick of the week, because it's just like today. Feels amazing. It's actually a little bit drier, but it should be a little bit sunnier. Now, moving forward, I want to show you the pieces on the board, per se, the surface map of where things are going. The reason why we also have an uptick as far as our rain chances are going is not just because of the daytime heating, it gets warmer, you have the typical pop-up thunderstorm. You have nearby systems that sometimes can ramp things up. So right around Columbia, South Carolina, for example, good chance for rain each and every day Friday heading through the weekend. But then the further north you go, you're farther away from this main center. So there's still a chance the further south you go, so I think especially south of I-85, that you could have some activity also along the shoreline. I think it's a better beach day along North Carolina compared to the South Carolina coastline as we work our way through your holiday weekend. And then once you get to your actual Labor Day, a high pressure system kind of pushes all that rain further off towards the east. Back to our lows, we are going to see a downtrend before it starts to come back up again. We have the lower 60s to 59 degrees before we're back to the lower 60s. And then I think we're going to have another cool down, another shot at the upper 50s on Tuesday and Wednesday morning before we get a little bit closer to where we should be. As far as our high temperatures go, mainly the lower 80s over the next 7 days. We will have a little bit of a spike heading into your Friday before they come back down, and we should be back in the mid to the upper 80s by day 4 of September. But we are ending the month of August just as we started, below normal. Let's get over to Majestic to see if our traffic is normal so far this morning and what you need to know about.
Good morning. Well, it's been pretty busy now that we are in that 7 o'clock hour here. It started out quiet, but now as more people were waking up and heading off to work, maybe getting kids off to the class today, you can see traffic is definitely out there. This is I-77 overlooking beautiful uptown area. Roadways at least are nice and dry for you. Our typical backups, so they are starting inbound on I-77. That's going to take you a while to get into the uptown area. Much of the same out towards I-85. Not just those typical delays, but unfortunately a handful of ongoing wrecks. This one here is well south of Charlotte. It's on I-485. Eastbound lanes being impacted by this. This is at exit 61. A crash right there that actually, those delays seem like they're actually building, getting a little worse. A lane is blocked because of this additional crash. It's at Lancaster Highway and John K. Hall Way. Seeing some orange meaning that cars are just moving rather slowly. And then this one really seems to be bringing some headaches for you this morning. It's a crash on Marvin Drive at Adderey-Kell Road, so you may want to allow for a few extra minutes as you're heading out the door. I-77, you can see it right here, a whole lot of red. Those are those inbound lanes. Nothing we're not used to this time of the day, especially with it being school time again. But we also have this object in the road. It's on Nations Ford Road at Kingsford Drive. Not exactly sure what that object is, but something's in the middle of the road, so make sure you're being careful. And then this crash here, it's on Old Concord Road and Tryon Street, still not cleared. Those are the main things I'm watching for now. We'll have another check on those area roadways. We're going to see you right back here next time in a few minutes.
Majestic, thanks. Check this out. A new study ranks the Queen City as 10th in the nation for most economic growth in a large city. The study looked at growth from 2019 to 2023, factoring in job gains, gross domestic product, housing, that sort of thing. Charlotte saw a 1% drop in unemployment, one of the biggest decreases in the country. The city also had a 38% GDP surge, making us proud as usual. All right, we're back here in just 2 minutes here on WCNC Plus. .740 right now on WCNC Plus. We are learning more about the young woman who was stabbed to death over the weekend in South End. 23-year-old Irina Zarutsko was killed on the light rail. She had fled Ukraine to escape the dangers of war. On Friday, her life was cut short. 34-year-old Carlos Brown now facing charges in connection to her death and has a lengthy criminal history. Still unclear what led to the stabbing and if the two knew each other. Loved ones say they're shocked and searching for answers.
She's somebody that abided by the law and doesn't get to live another day to even try.
Brown was also hurt in the incident, taken to the hospital. Once he's released, he'll be formally charged. Zarutsko's family friends started a GoFundMe to the page to help the family. You can find that link inside the WCNC Plus app. Well, in South End, some business owners are sounding the alarm over what they call unsafe street vendors. And they're urging Charlotte City Council to expand a pilot program to regulate it immediately. The program started this summer in NODA and requires street vendors to apply for a permit costing them about $90. It also raises fines for violations from the current maximum of $50 up to $500. When it passed in June, council members said it's all about safety.
It wasn't our goal to displace you, this council, but there's a safety issue in NODA, and there's blocking small businesses, so we have to have order.
If the 6-month pilot goes well, the council can vote to extend it or expand it to other areas like South End. Time now to connect the dots. When we make the news make sense, as fall approaches, questions are growing over who can get the next round of COVID shots and whether insurance will pick up the bill. Lisa Washington has more.
Updated COVID-19 vaccines from Pfizer, Moderna, and Novavax are expected this fall to combat new variants of the virus. But who will be eligible and whether you'll pay anything is confusing. Let's connect the dots. The FDA plans to approve the new shots for adults 65 and older and those of any age with health risks like obesity, pregnancy, depression, and asthma. Healthy adults under age 65 may still get vaccinated, but only off-label through a doctor's request. If you fall outside of the official eligibility, your insurance may not cover the vaccine, and you could face out-of-pocket costs or copays. The public health funding that once made vaccines free for everyone no longer applies. Without insurance, the vaccine could cost around $140 at a pharmacy, and even those who have insurance might still pay if their insurer doesn't follow the new CDC recommendations. Federal guidance is muddled. New policies, committee shakeups, and unclear coverage rules could delay or block access for many, especially healthy adults. And that's connecting the dots.
North Carolina taking a big step to modernize health care. The state just launched a new electronic health record system across its 13 state-run facilities, which treat adults and children with mental illness, substance abuse, and disorders and neuromedical conditions. The new system aims to enhance patient care and safety. Health officials say the goal is to improve communication among care teams, cut down on paperwork, and make it easier to access medical histories. With kids back in school, it also means time to bring out those tissues as more sicknesses will inevitably go around. WCNC Charlotte's Megan Bragg looks at the everyday impact heading back to school can have on your child's immune system.
Each back-to-school season, doctors see a spike in visits for illnesses like the common cold, RSV, the stomach bug, and strep throat. Novant Health pediatrician Dr. Matthew Samuel says there are several reasons why.
It is a lot of crowding, people picking up germs from far and away, coming back and commingling with other people. They're in closer quarters.
Lack of sleep can also play a major role. To get ahead of the game, Dr. Samuel says make sure vaccinations are up to date, make sure things around the house like TV remotes are sanitized, and have healthy meals and plenty of sleep.
The basics, hand washing before meals and after using the restroom, covering the mouth when sneezing or coughing.
To stop the spread of illness, make sure to keep your kids home if they are sick. Megan Bragg, WCNC Charlotte.
Keep it right here. Chris will have a look at your weather impact forecast coming up in 2 minutes right here on WCNC Plus.
Well, good morning, everybody. 82 degrees. That's the high I have for today. Not a bad day. Nice mix of cloud and sunshine. Feels great. I will continue to repeat myself that the real feel for today is actually going to be a little bit cooler than the actual air temperature because we're so dry. So we don't have the heat index to worry about really for the near term or really anything in sight. 82 does not feel like August 26th, though. It actually feels more like September 18th. So literally the last week of summer. Now let's talk about August. August has been weird. Not a technical weather term, but literally we started off the 5th coolest first 10 days of August. Then we cranked up to the 90s for a little bit, and then we tried to get back to 70 degrees again. And then all in all, we've had more 80s than anything. There's been some months that you have all 31 days up to 90 degrees, but it's very rare that you have almost as many 70-degree days as 90-degree days for the month of August. That multiple times in history, we've even got to 100 plus during the month of August. So that brings up our random weather stat of the day. Only 6 days in the 90s is actually the lowest total over the last 20 years. Back in 2004, we only had 4 days at 90 plus. 2003, we had 6, matching what we had this year. So it's been a while. It's actually been double digits 10 years in a row. So this is a big deal, and I'm not jumping the gun. I know there's 5 more days left in August, but we're not hitting 90, I'm telling you that. Here's our dog of the day. This is Thor, really celebrating a National Dog Day. Thor actually just snuck back in here. I already gave you your day, but you know what? I'm not mad about it. We're going to see a decent one. Overall, mix of cloud and sunshine as we are working our way through the day, and our high temperatures are reaching the lower 80s. So that's what we like to see. And I think what the more interesting part of the forecast is really where our lows and our highs are going to be going. We're overnight tonight. We're only dropping down to the lower 60s, and we should be in the upper 60s for this time of year, dropping down to the lower 80s for tomorrow, and then more cloud cover anticipated for your Thursday. But we should be rain-free at that point. Really, for the extended forecast, I don't really have too much that I have to really mention for you. We don't have a lot of rain chances going forward. Check it out. You see a 20% chance for Friday, Sunday, Monday. I might even bring down a little bit before it's back again on the 5th of September. So not a lot is happening for the long range. We don't have any major systems. Now, of course, that can change if we see any sort of disturbance in the tropics, but not really seeing too much of that. I already showed you this graphic earlier, but it really paints the tale. Whenever you have a forecast like this at any of the summer months, you are lucky. So enjoy it. It's going to feel so nice, so great over the next few days. More lower 80s over the next 7 than any other range. Enjoy the day. I know Majestic is. What's going on for our morning commute? Enjoyable?
Well, it's been busy, honestly. The first part of the day started out really quiet, but now as more people are waking up, heading off to work, maybe still getting some kiddos to class this morning, traffic has surely started to increase, which makes sense. This is I-77. You can tell at least those roads are nice and dry for you, and we have some sun shining out there. You can see our typical slowdowns, though. I-77, I-85, 485 loop out towards Mint Hill and Matthews especially, but we also have a handful of ongoing wrecks. So not only do we have what we're typically used to, but we also have some accidents. This one here, it's on I-485 eastbound at exit 61. We've been following this now for the last 10 to 15 minutes there on Johnston Road. Just to the south of it, another one that's really slowing down traffic as well because a whole lane is blocked because of this crash. It's on Lancaster Highway at John K. Hall Way. We'll continue to watch that very carefully for you. And then this crash here, you see all this red, that's stop and go traffic just to the south of that one. It's on Marvin Road. As we're heading to the north, now this red here, that's I-77 inbound. So really bumper to bumper traffic as people are heading a little closer to Uptown. But just to the east of I-77 at Nations Ford Road, there's something in the road, so be mindful of that. Drive safely. It's at Nations Ford Road and Kingsford Drive. And then again to the north, still this ongoing wreck. It has not been cleared. This one has been standing for a while now. It's a crash on Old Concord Road and Tryon Street. That's what I'm watching for now. We'll have another update on those area roadways next time I see ya.
This morning, a push by some of President Trump's supporters to add him to Mount Rushmore. You see it right there. Imagine his face being up there as well. Well, it's already being met with opposition, but how close is this effort to actually getting accomplished? NBC's Ryan Nobles went to South Dakota to find out.
Mount Rushmore, an American icon.
Did it just blow your mind?
it was a little overwhelming when you first see it.
Untouched for more than 80 years, there is now an effort by some supporters of Donald Trump to add his face to the monument.
I think history is going to show that he's in the same pantry.
Congresswoman Anna Paulina Luna has a bill in Congress that would add Trump to Mount Rushmore. Interior Secretary Doug Burgum left open the possibility.
Will we ever see President Trump's face on Mount Rushmore? What do you think?
Well, they certainly have room for it.
But the practical reality is much different. Dan Wenk is the former superintendent at Mount Rushmore.
You can't change somebody's work of art.
Over the years, people have proposed adding faces to the sculpture, from Susan B. Anthony to Ronald Reagan. Wenk says the answer is always the same.
It doesn't matter because it can't be done.
But aside from the historic, political, and artistic reasons against changing Mount Rushmore, there's one big barrier, and it's non-negotiable.
I wouldn't want to be messing with Mount Rushmore.
From an engineering and geological perspective, adding any face is near impossible. A close look shows the mountain filled with deep fractures, like this massive fracture that runs right by Washington's head. Paul Nelson, an engineer who worked on the mountain, warns any new carving could cause serious damage.
But it's not something that can be messed with. Is that fair to say?
No. Yeah, I wouldn't want to start blasting or carving rock.
While the mountain looks deep and wide from the front, a side view reveals a massive valley behind the sculpture, leaving very little room to carve. For perspective, Roosevelt's head is 100 feet behind the original granite.
You have to remove so much rock that once you remove the rock to get something competent, there's just not any rock left.
For Dan Wenk, the conversation is fine, as long as that's where it ends.
I love controversy.
It's like, bring it on. Yeah.
Bring it on. It doesn't matter how worthy someone is. If the rock is not there, you can't carve them.
Putting an end to this age-old debate, at least for now. Ryan Nobles, NBC News, Mount Rushmore, South Dakota.
Beautiful when you see it.
It's shocking.
Yeah.
Because you come up these bends and everything like that.
It pops up out of nowhere. It pops, you don't expect it. Yeah.
Have you seen it too?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's smaller than I anticipated, but just gorgeous. All right, folks. As if you can't tell, summer is almost over. Fall fast approaching, with a certain fall staple. That's right. Today, Starbucks bringing back its pumpkin spice latte. The coffee chain announced the drink's arrival a month earlier than usual. I think they announced it earlier. It's not actually back earlier. That's because Google searches for pumpkin spice started earlier. More favorites making their way as well. How about this? A pumpkin cream cold brew, iced pumpkin cream chai.
Now we're talking.
Oh, yeah.
And how about a pecan crunch oat milk latte?
They're very wordy coffee drinks.
They really are.
Starbucks
Very
is.
buzzy.
Yeah, I could go for one.
I bet they're all good.
Yeah.
Starbucks does a pretty good job of, But by the way, we should also say, as we always say, support your local coffee shops as well.
Exactly.
That's one thing I've loved about living in Charlotte. There's so many small little coffee shops that you can just walk to, and they taste really, really good. Coming from a girl who is in Starbucks land and coffee land, I like those small little mom and pop shops.
All right, folks, keep it right here. As we take a live look right now over Uptown, we're back right here on WCNC Plus.
Well, good morning, everybody. 67 degrees in Monroe. We're starting to warm up right around Charlotte. But as you can see, we have a decent amount of cloud cover off in the distance. So we're just waiting on that to erode. And as we were just saying on WCNC Plus, that it's officially the PSL returning. And that is for also some local coffee shops as well. Nice mix of cloud and sunshine throughout the day. And the big deal going forward is that we're going to be rain-free, and it feels amazing. Like, if you haven't been outside yet, it's almost a shock because you're like, oh, wow, it feels great. I'm not going to use the words humid or muggy to describe any of these days. Could get a little bit stickier, though, Friday heading into Saturday, but the lower 80s taking over the 70 forecast. Warmest day we have is 85 on Friday. Let's get right over to Majestic, see what's going on around town.
Good morning. Yeah, it definitely feels nice. Maybe you're heading out for that morning run or walk, or you're just heading off to work this morning. It's a beautiful start to the day. You can see I-77 definitely moving very slowly. We have our typical backups. You can see up and down I-77, especially those inbound lanes, much the same out towards I-85. Not just our typical delays, but look at this map. I mean, we have a lot of ongoing wrecks that I'm following this morning for you over on WCNC Plus. But I do want to let you know about this one. There's a crash right here. It's on I-485, the eastbound at exit 61. That's Johnston Road. Allow for a few extra minutes for your Tuesday commute.
Streaming live right now at 8 a.m. here on WCNC Plus. I'm Ben Thompson, and we are following a developing story at this hour. Some parents here in Charlotte evidently having some trouble getting their kids to school this morning. CMS dealing with a number of late buses on this, the second day of school. In fact, J.M. Robinson Middle School sending out this note to families just in the last hour or so, saying our team knows there are several families at random transportation issues with no rhyme or reason as to why they are having those issues. We're very sorry and working with the district to resolve them as fast as possible. At this point, we don't know if this extends to any other schools within the district, but again, all coming on what is the second day of school here in Charlotte, that at J.M. Robinson Middle School down in South Charlotte. We'll keep you posted as we hear more right here on WCNC Plus. Also today, family and friends and NASCAR lovers are going to say their final goodbyes to legendary promoter Humpy Wheeler. WCNC Charlotte's Richard Devane shares how fans can give their last condolences. It's hard to overstate, Richard, how much of a legend Humpy Wheeler was in these parts.
That is absolutely correct, Ben. Good morning to you. Good Tuesday morning. Every time you meet Humpy Wheeler, especially before you actually did a story, he would sit up and talk about whatever. He always had these stories to tell. He always wanted my photojournalist, Ruben Wallace, to become a boxer. Every time he'd see him, he'd say, you need to be in the ring. But of course, Humpy had some ideas. Ruben's a football player, former football player, but Humpy said he'd be a great boxer. He always had something to say. He always entertained people, and he'll truly be missed. And he also was very responsible for making this building behind me the pinnacle of NASCAR racing here in the country. He was known as the master showman of NASCAR, and for good reason. Humpy Wheeler spent nearly 3 decades as president of the Charlotte Motor Speedway, turning stock car racing into a spectacle unlike anything fans had ever seen before. Born in Belmont, North Carolina, Wheeler's love for racing started when he was young. By the time he took over the Speedway in the late 70s, he had a vision. He and Bruton Smith wanted to make the race bigger, bolder, and unforgettable. From elaborate pre-race stunts to fireworks and military flyovers, Wheeler made fans sure that they got more than just cars on a track. But his influence reached far beyond the show. Wheeler was a savvy promoter, bringing major sponsors and helping Charlotte cement its place as the hub of NASCAR. His innovative spirit earned him the recognition in multiple halls of fame, including NASCAR's Landmark Award for his lasting contributions to the sport. In his own words, Humpy just knew how to give fans what they wanted.
It's about growing up in the South and then becoming interested in NASCAR. And there's quite a bit of culture in it and about how we live and why Southerners are the way we are, and also why we like stock car racing so much. If you know that, then you'll know what they want to see when they come. You'll know what kind of prices to charge for tickets. You'll know how to entertain them.
Yeah, and that service today starts at 11 at St. Gabriel's Catholic Church. Of course, if you want to donate and do something in his memory, you can donate to Belmont Abbey College in the sports management division. They have a program that he actually started some years ago. We're right here at the Concord at the Motor Speedway. Richard Devane, we'll send it back to you.
All right, well, moving on, we have a beautiful start to the day. We're going to have a nice mix of cloud and sunshine. Now, it really feels beautiful. I think that's the biggest thing that we have going forward, because some areas are also dealing with a mostly cloudy sky. You're seeing it over Charlotte, so you might be looking up and it's like, this isn't that pretty, Chris. And I was like, but it feels great, right? And we're going to have, at times, more of a blue sky as we're seeing over here in Boone. At times, it could look like here in Charlotte, or it could be like Monroe. It's kind of the middle of the Venn diagram. But not a bad day whatsoever. 65 degrees right around Charlotte, up to 67 around Monroe, 66 for you in Sharon, and then 60 degrees right around Morganton. We've been mentioning that it is more of a PSL forecast than what you would expect for this time of year. It usually seems too early, but we're definitely feeling the effects of fall. And another feature of fall that I really want to get into is ragweed season. That, believe it or not, we have several different seasons as far as allergies go. And if you've had a little extra sniffle or sneeze, it could be the ragweed, because it's usually by late August heading into September that we're starting to near the peak of ragweed season. So it's right around this time. It's not nearly as severe as you can just see how tall the tree pollen graph gets, but it does get up to a moderate level oftentimes, which is oftentimes going to be an issue. Right now, looking at some of the values, we are about a moderate level of ragweed for this time of year. So it is a little bit ahead of schedule as far as trying to near that peak. Meanwhile, today feels more like September 18th. It should be at least in the upper 80s for this time of year. That has not been the case in scenario. Instead, we've been far warmer just because of the current setup that we have here on the board. So as we're working our way through today, you have some clouds that are starting to try to get out of here, but it's all because of that secondary cold front that rolled through that's making us, one, feel so dry, but two, also on the cooler side. So the last couple of days, 88, 86. 87. Oftentimes it can take up to 24 hours for really that cooler air to start to settle back in. So here's where we're going in the long term. This is going to bring down our lows. This morning we dropped down to 64 degrees. It'll be 61 by tomorrow and even a shot at the upper 50s. The last time that we were in the upper 50s around the Charlotte area was May 31st. Either side is 60 degrees in between. And as far as that long range trend for our highs, we're back to the mid 80s on Friday, but still looks like another week plus of below normal temperatures looking forward. And also, our rain chances are going to be pretty low as well. So as far as how the days are going to look, today is one of those interesting ones that at times it's going to be cloudy, at times it's going to be sunnier. You just have kind of an unpredictable deck of clouds that are starting to build a road, different pieces starting to spread across from each other. That's why it's really tough to say it's mostly sunny today. It's partly cloudy because realistically, all the different phases are clear, mostly sunny, partly cloudy, partly sunny, mostly cloudy, overcast. You could have pretty much all of those at some point during today. Our 7-day forecast for the long run, we have the lower 80s for your Wednesday and Thursday, the mid 80s on Friday, and then we're down into the lower 80s for your holiday weekend. Now, this might be a bummer for some. Maybe you want to take the boat out, be more outside. And I'm not saying it's going to be a bad forecast. It is just certainly going to be cooler. And what's actually happening for our long range trend is we're looking at more systems down towards the south. So sometimes you can have a nearby system of proximity that's going to allow for a better chance for rain. So nothing is really widespread. All these are only like 20% chances for rain, but they're still going to be prevalent here and there. So I just want people to know that heading into your holiday weekend, there is going to be the potential for a passing shower. So here, I want to go through the day 3 through 7 long range surface map. Here's a Saturday morning. Here, I'm going to actually backtrack it to Friday. We're seeing most of the activity down in South Carolina, right along the North Carolina shoreline. Even though I have a 20% chance for rain, I think most of this activity is going to be in South Carolina, and that's going to be the case in scenario. For your Saturday, same thing kind of goes. It's really southeast of Charlotte that we have that potential. Heading into your Sunday, you could have a pop-up shower or storm, but most activity is south and east. And then heading into your Monday, we don't really have too much going on. That high pressure system that's rolling in, eventually with a pair of the low and the high, we're going to start to shift the winds, allowing us to warm back up. But yeah, no, it has been a wacky all-around August. As Majestic called it earlier, a moody August, but thank goodness that month's coming to an end, my friend.
It's going to be September before we know it. Here we go, everyone. If you got some place to be, well, here we go. I-77 is definitely slowed down. You can see it right here. It's moving rather slowly. This is uptown here. We have our typical stop and go delays. You can see it both inbound and outbound on I-77, but especially those inbound lanes. Not just that, we have our own problems, a handful of ongoing wrecks. One to still take is south of Charlotte right here. Following this one carefully for you, a lane is blocked because of a crash. It's on Lancaster Highway at John K. Hall Way. So make sure you are being mindful of that. You might want to just allow for a few extra minutes. Just to the east, another crash here on Marvin Drive. That orange is indicating that cars are moving rather slowly because of that. And now this is I-77. This is where the real stop and go traffic is. We don't actually have a crash right there on I-77, but on Nations Ford Road, there is still an object in the road. It's at Nations Ford Road and Kingsford Drive. We don't exactly know what it is, but make sure you're just paying attention. And then did want to let you know, finally, this wreck has since been cleared on Concord Road, but this one here on Brookshire Boulevard at Oaksdale Road is currently ongoing. So a lot going on this morning. Be careful out there. Drive safe. We'll have another check on those roads all coming up here in just a few. Ben.
All right, listen to this. Whataburger announcing a multi-year partnership with the Carolina Panthers and Charlotte FC. The deal comes as the Texas-based burger chain is really looking to expand here in the Carolinas. Fans can now look forward to special game day deals at the stadium. The partnership will also support youth and community programs. We're back in 2 minutes right here on WCNC Plus. approaching 8:13 right now on WCNC Plus. Thanks for streaming with us. This morning, President Trump's crackdown on crime is ramping up. He's pushing courts to reconsider flag burning as a crime, and he's threatening to send National Guard, like these behind me right here, into other cities like Chicago and Baltimore. NBC's Alice Barr has more on the growing pushback from state and local officials.
This morning, new signs President Trump's expanding crackdown on crime could mean a growing National Guard presence in more big cities, already armed on the streets of Washington, D.C., with Chicago potentially next in line.
We may or may not. We may just go in and do it, which is probably what we should do. Chicago desperately needs help.
The president signing an executive order tasking his defense secretary with creating specialized National Guard units to be trained and ready to help with domestic law enforcement. Chicago's mayor pointing to a 30% drop in murders, robberies, and shootings from last year, though the city is still averaging more than one killing a day, with 3 homicides and 27 people shot just this weekend.
Our communities need more federal resources for public safety. There's no question about that. But unsolicited, unwarranted military takeover is not needed.
The Illinois governor calling the potential takeover
a dangerous power grab.
And referring to President Trump as a wannabe dictator, the president pushing back.
A lot of people are saying maybe we like a dictator. I don't like a dictator. I'm not a dictator. I'm a man with great common sense.
All as President Trump signed 2 more crime-related executive orders, one threatening to revoke federal funding from states that offer cashless bail, arguing that lets offenders commit more crimes. The second aimed at turning the burning of American flags from a First Amendment-protected act into a crime for inciting a riot. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
Trending this morning, President Trump is removing Federal Reserve Governor Lisa Cook effective immediately. The president posted an announcement on social media Monday. The president citing allegations of mortgage fraud. It's important to say Cook has not been charged with any sort of crime, and her removal is likely to lead to a court battle. She says she will not be bullied into stepping down because her term runs until 2038. Cook is the first black woman to serve on the Federal Reserve Board. Meanwhile, tensions growing in Florida as protesters rallied yesterday against a state order targeting rainbow crosswalks. Jamie Garullo reports.
This is what democracy looks like. Show me what democracy looks like. This is what
Monday night in Wilton Manors, just before the sun set, and as a thunderstorm inched closer, more than 100 protesters stood on the Rainbow Bridge.
To go to the voting booth this November and remember the people who were there for you when you needed them most.
The colorful structure is a prominent fixture on Wilton Drive and a symbol of the LGBTQ+ community. A symbol the same community says is now under attack again.
It's a scary time, and we need to bring the masses out, and we need to say this isn't okay. This isn't okay to try to erase us. It isn't okay to attack our communities.
Last week, Miami Beach and Fort Lauderdale were given notice to remove the rainbow-painted crosswalks or lose state and federal funding. Specifically, it orders cities to remove non-compliant surface pavement art that is associated with social, political, or ideological messages or images and does not serve the purpose of traffic control. The state says the markings can lead to distractions or misunderstandings that jeopardize both driver and pedestrian safety.
The first and foremost is that's not true, because statistically the colored crosswalks show safer crosswalks and fewer car crashes. Secondly, they're removing it without due process. They're issuing this letter to the cities and not giving them a chance to appeal.
The notice to Fort Lauderdale included this painting on a dead-end street of a pride flag. It's not even a crosswalk. The letter did identify 2 other intersections with artwork that were not pride-themed. On Miami Beach, only the rainbow on 12th and Ocean was named. Rainbow crosswalks in Delray, Key West, Orlando, and St. Petersburg are also on the list. Coral Gables also got notice. Intersections are currently being painted over. They are not LGBTQ+ oriented. They were created by renowned Venezuelan artists. But those against repainting the pride crosswalks say don't be fooled by the state's real intentions.
This is just them trying to, once again, make us go back in the closet, just like the don't say gay legislation, which is all meant so people don't talk about us, so that we don't exist, so that we have to live in hiding.
8:17 right now on WCNC Plus. Keep it right here. We'll have another check of your morning weather and the commute coming your way.
Welcome back, everybody. Carolina Fall Alert officially is here. 82 today, then 81, then 80. And then tomorrow is actually one of my favorite days just because I think you're going to see the most sunshine for your Wednesday. So that's why I've gone ahead and already made that my pick of the week. But I really like what we have going forward, by the way, just because of how nice that feels. This is very unusual for this time of year. So there it is, the pick of the week. It's official now that you're seeing it on your screen. But it's the dew points that have been the most special part of this forecast. If you've ever watched me before, it's very rare that I'm not bringing up a dew point in some sort of fashion because it's one of the best tools that we have for forecasting, but really representing how the atmosphere feels. So the higher it is, the more humid it feels. Well, the lower it is, the drier it feels. And once you drop down below 60, then we're starting to transition from that sticky range to, hey, it feels pretty decent. And once you get into the green, and we're certainly going to have a lot more of that by tomorrow, it's just oh so nice, very nice feeling. And then a better word for it is probably comfortable. And that's exactly where we're going to be, around this dry and comfortable range for today, for your Wednesday and Thursday. We will see things ramp back up heading into your holiday weekend. But other than that, looking pretty good, hunky-dory. We have that front that pushed through. There's actually two fronts back to back that gave us a chance for thunderstorms on Sunday. And then the final one really rolled through yesterday morning, and that didn't really give us any rain. But then now we are dealing with the next 36 hours of all that pushing its way off towards the east, providing more sunshine for your Wednesday. And then for your Thursday, I think more clouds start to roll back in as we have multiple systems drifting down towards the south. It's interesting because this time of the year, we realistically should be in the upper 80s. We did it back to back. We had several days that were in the 90s, especially 6 for August, but we've really been dancing around the 80s a lot more. That's why this is one of the cooler August compared to one of the warmer ones, even though we really fell back since we did surge back above normal. But you can see over the next 7-day forecast, I really don't have a lot going on for you, which is some good news. Now, there are some chances for rain, a 20% chance on your Friday, and then again on Sunday. And then Monday's actually looking less and less. And this is really just because of a nearby system that's going to be down towards the south. We have some that are not going to have as pretty of a Labor Day weekend forecast because of a widespread front that is pretty much stalled out and stationary. Here, I'll show you that before we get over to traffic. Here is heading Thursday into Friday. Notice how we have this system down towards the south, and it really remains down here for much of the weekend. Now, Saturday, we have a real nearby system, so you might have to up the rain chances there. Same thing for Sunday, but really by Sunday into Monday, most of the activity is pushing its way off towards the east. So we do have some general rain chances for this coming weekend, but I think most of it is actually going to stay dry. If you live around the I-40 corridor, well, it's certainly staying dry. A much better chance for more of a widespread system and another front to roll through later on the following week. But all in all, still below average next 6 to 10 days. Let's get over to Majestic, see what's going on for your roads. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, everyone. Well, we'll start with this, our drive times. If you do have someplace to be early this morning, well, it's going to take you a little while to get there. We have a lot of traffic right now. 36 minutes if you're coming in from Matthews, almost 40 minutes there. If you're coming in from Belmont, just over 30 and just over 50 for Gastonia. You can see I-77 if you're coming in from York County. Good morning to area roadways. Again, still nice and dry, but as you can see, there are definitely some much more cars out on those roads now compared to just about 30 minutes to an hour ago. Much of the same overlooking Uptown. That's I-77 there, just moving rather slowly. We have our typical backups, but we also have a handful of accidents to let you know about. You can see all of the red up and down I-77, even back towards I-85, 485 from Mentel out towards Matthews as well. Want to let you know about a few things just off to the east of Charlotte, kind of just actually to the south. We're following this. This is a new crash on Kings Drive and Moorhead Street, seeing some delays, about a 5-minute delay there. And then this one's also new. The left lane is blocked because of a crash. It's on Wilkinson Boulevard eastbound at Donald Ross Road.
Hi, this is Larry Sprinkle. Time for our Tuesday Tail Wagger along with our friends at Animal Care and Control. We're still trying to clear the shoulders. That never ends. Let's talk about today's Tail Wagger. His name is Smokey. Smokey is about 8 years old. You never know it. Weighs around 50 to 55 pounds. Just a sweet dog. Very gentle, well-behaved, knows commands. great in the backseat of a car and loves to be outside, but he also likes to be close to his forever friend. His name is Smokey. He's available today at Animal Care Control. They're open Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 7 p.m., Saturday and Sunday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. You can log on to animalclt.org for all of the information. Once again, this is Smokey. He's about 8 years old, weighs somewhere from about 50 to 55 pounds. He's a great dog, and Smokey is our very special Tuesday tail wagger.
All right, Larry, thanks. Live pictures right now over Uptown to get your Tuesday morning started. Keep it right here on WCNC Plus.
Well, good morning. Welcome to a great day. Have you been outside? Do you feel how amazing it is? That's the best feature about today and days to come, that it doesn't feel overly humid. I know it's nice to have a break at this time of the season. And then 79 degrees right around Hickory, 82 for a high right around Charlotte. We'll get into the lower 80s by about 2 p.m. and pretty much stay there for the rest of the afternoon. It's Taco Tuesday, y'all. Evening eats forecast. Temperatures dropping down through the 70s, and even by 9 o'clock, the lower to the mid 70s, it's going to be feeling great. Chef's kiss. We have the lower 80s over the next 3 days. I think Wednesday's going to be one of the sunnier ones over the next 3, so that's why it's my pick of the week. Back to 85 with a slight chance for a pop-up storm on Friday, and then we'll keep the storm chances lingering through the weekend with lows in the lower 80s overall over the next 7 days heading into September. Let's go right over to Majestic to see how your morning commute's looking.
Good morning, everyone. It is 8:27. If you have places to be and things to do, well, you got some traffic that you're going to have to deal with. We have our typical delays, but we also have a handful of ongoing wrecks here. Look at I-77 up and down. We're seeing those delays, especially those inbound lanes. But just to the west, I want to let you know about something that we're following very carefully. We'll go to this one first. It's just south of Charlotte. This is a crash on Kings Drive and Moorhead Street. We're seeing some yellow popping up, meaning that there are some medium impacts. This one here, the left lane is currently blocked because of a crash. It's out there on Wilkinson Boulevard, impacting eastbound lanes at Donald Ross Road. We're going to have more on everything traffic coming up on WCNC Plus. Hope to see you over there soon.
Streaming live right now at 8:30 right here on WCNC Plus. I'm Ben Thompson. Charlotte's largest men's shelter is seeing more people in crisis, while at the same time, federal support for groups like it is shrinking. WCNC Charlotte's Destiny Richards shows us how a new housing project opening next month could offer some relief and in some cases some hope for folks out there. Destiny.
Yeah, this dorm building behind me here on the King's College campus is set to reopen as a new temporary housing option. 64 units of temporary housing for working men and veterans. Roof Above is partnering with the city of Charlotte to bring this new dorm-style housing online, and it's to give these men a stable place to live while they transition out of homelessness. This project was supported with $2.4 million from Charlotte's Housing Trust Fund. And Roof Above leaders say it's an example of how investing in housing can directly reduce homelessness. They also say the timing couldn't be more critical. Roof Above is the city's main men's shelter, and last year alone, it served 24% more people than the year before. Leaders say that surge came as costs climbed and federal funding grew uncertain. The shelter already lost one FEMA program and anticipate more cuts to housing initiatives, including Housing First, a model they say has proven effective in helping people rebuild their lives. Back in March, leaders told WCNC Charlotte they were worried about being stretched thin.
We are seeing more people coming to us in a housing crisis, and so it really feels like a time where we're needing to do more with less resources.
Roof Above says they are grateful for this collaboration with the city and the community. A little bit more about these dorms set to reopen, by the way, at the end of September. They say that they were purchased by a donor and then they were able to raise money. Roof Above was to renovate the inside. It'll all keep that dorm style, but they were able to upgrade the mechanical, electrical, and plumbing inside of the building. And that's in addition to, of course, the Housing Trust Fund of $2.4 million that contributed to this. And it's important to note that they're not just going to be, the men here aren't just going to be staying inside. They'll be able to pay an affordable rent, and they'll have supportive services here as well to help them get back on their feet. I'll send it back to you guys in the studio.
All right, Destiny Richards reporting live for us. Destiny, thank you. 8:32 right now, turning back to your forecast with Chris Mulcahy. And Chris, not exactly August-like, but very nice.
Yeah, no, it's fantastic. 64 degrees, not really too far off from where we should be, about 68, but you definitely notice the difference because a 64 that's humid compared to a 64 that is just absolutely bone dry, well, there's a big factor there, and then that's why we have more of that crisp feel to begin the day. Now, of course, as we get more sunshine throughout the morning and the afternoon, direct sunshine can still make you feel about 10 plus degrees warmer, so you're going to feel that factor, but check out the stair climb. It's actually going to be great for the kids at the playground, especially if you're going over the next few hours, because say if there's a metal slide, I know it's rare, but there are a few around town. Well, we haven't had as much sunshine, it's not as hot, so now would be the time if you go to a playground like that, but then right around 80 degrees about 2 p.m. And then our high temperatures reaching about 82 across the Charlotte area. Our high so far today right about 68 to 70, so some of us already getting into the 70s to start off the day. After school temperatures should still be rocking about that 80-degree range for your 4, 5, and 6 o'clock hour. Today is going to be one of those days that at times it could be mostly sunny, at times it could be mostly cloudy. You're just seeing the skies constantly change throughout the day. Many of us dealing with a cloudier start to the day, but things will improve. And I think you will have some clearing overnight tonight, so you should be able to see the moon. But what's interesting about the moon, and the reason why I'm showing you this, is this isn't for the night sky. The moon's actually rising up at 10 a.m., even though it's just a little sliver, and then it sets at 9:36. So that means that you're actually seeing more of a daytime moon compared to the nighttime. This is constantly fluctuating and changing. However, Venus is going to be very visible near sunrise. So if you see something really bright close to the horizon near sunrise, that is Venus. Now you know. And then temperatures dropping down into the lower 60s this time. So 61 to start off the morning tomorrow. And then you have the mid to the upper 50s after that. And Thursday could be the first time since May May 31st that we're dropping down to the upper 50s. But my favorite thing about the forecast is how you feel. This is absolutely incredible. It's not often this time of year that you get this nice little treat, that no problem range, feeling so nice and comfortable. These values start to come up a little bit by your Labor Day weekend, where it is going to start to feel a little bit stickier. But you can see for the 7-day forecast, we don't really get that much warmer as well. And our rain chances are very, very low. I think pretty much each day has a chance for isolated showers Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. And we'll have to keep an eye on this because there is a developing front that is down towards the south. If that nudges a little bit further north, it could give us more of a widespread rain chance. But right now it looks to be very scattered. So I think the biggest story is about how great it feels and how chilly our lows are about to get. So no big news. Majestic, this has to be probably the easiest forecast we've had in quite some time.
That's nice. And really, I think a lot of people are just enjoying the comfortable weather to be able to be outside and enjoy it. So one thing that's not so enjoyable is the morning commute today. Wow, we have a lot of red still popping up. These are really just our typical slowdowns up and down I-77, especially inbound lanes. A little bit of red still popping up there on I-85, 485 from Mint Hill out towards Matthews. So the red, that's at stop and go. But notice we have our own set of problems here, multiple ongoing accidents. I'm going to highlight a few of them. Can't get to all of them right now, but we're going to look at the most important ones. This one here is really bringing some slowdowns. It's right near Uptown. There's a crash here on Kings Drive at Moorhead Street. You can see it's impacting both lanes right there as traffic continues to move rather slowly. Still watching this. Left lane is still blocked because of this crash. It's here on Wilkinson Boulevard. Eastbound lanes being impacted at that, and it's going to be on Wilkinson and Donald Ross Road. As we're heading to the south now, I want to give you an update. This is not 485, but it's near it. An ongoing wreck here on Golf Links Drive and Providence Road. So right on Providence, just south of 485. Going to delay that morning commute just a bit. And all of this red, I've been watching this very carefully on I-485 out towards Mint Hill through Matthews. A lot of red, but we don't have any ongoing wrecks. Just a lot of people traveling in this area. So allow for some extra time because that traffic is moving very, very slowly. And then finally, this one here, there's a new accident on Albemarle Road at Central Ave. Take it easy for your Tuesday morning commute. We'll have another check on those roads when I see you back here in just a few.
Check this out. Caldwell County are celebrating a big upgrade to a section of the Yadkin River. You can see it right here on your screen. The restored section of the river along the Happy Valley Greenway now back open, looking much better. The $500,000 project stabilized about 430 feet of eroded riverbank. You can see there on your left. This is the before and after. Crews used boulders, rock, and all other sorts of enforcements to keep that bank from washing away and eroding. Looking much better now. We're back here in 2 minutes. Keep it here on WCNC Plus. 8:40 right now on WCNC Plus. With recent crackdowns on immigration and U.S. borders, some folks may be wondering what the law says and its impact on the Queen City. WCNC Charlotte's Megan Bragg talks to the experts to break down what are called Constitution-free zones.
A Reddit user in the Charlotte area recently made this post discussing these zones, which are commonly understood as within 100 miles of the U.S. border or coastline. But what exactly does this mean, and could this impact Charlotte? Let's verify.
To get answers, we went to the American Civil Liberties Union, Rick Sue, a professor with the University of North Carolina School of Law, and the United States Constitution. So what is a constitution-free zone? This means the federal government has certain exceptions to Fourth Amendment protections within a reasonable distance from the border or coastline.
So you might know from with regard to the Fourth Amendment, the government usually cannot seize or detain or search you without probable cause. But the Supreme Court has said that when it comes to a border, right, when you're crossing a border, that they can't do those things without probable cause or a warrant.
This is why authorities have the right to search your bags when re-entering the country, for example. But what is a reasonable distance? Previous presidential administrations have defined this as 100 miles. But Sue says there is a gray area.
There actually is no Supreme Court case that says 100 miles is the border zone. That's entirely determined by the president. So Charlotte falls outside the 100 miles, but who's to say that another president can't say, we consider everything's a border zone, including the fact that Charlotte has an airport. That, of course, is international.
So at this time, we can verify that Charlotte does not fall within a Constitution-free zone. With your Verify, I'm Megan Bragg.
And if you have something you would like us to verify, all you got to do is email us at verify@wcnc.com. North Carolina taking a big step to modernize healthcare. The state just launching a new electronic health record system across its 13 state-run facilities, which treat adults and children with mental illness. The new system aims to enhance patient care and safety. Health officials say the goal is to improve communication among care teams, cut down on paperwork, and make it easier to access medical histories. With kids back in school, it also means time to bring out those tissues as more sickness and illness will inevitably go around. WCNC Charlotte's Megan Bragg joins us once again with a look at the everyday impact heading back to school can have on your child's immune system.
Each back-to-school season, doctors see a spike in visits for illnesses like the common cold, RSV, the stomach bug, and strep throat. Novant Health pediatrician Dr. Matthew Samuel says there are several reasons why.
It is a lot of crowding, people picking up germs from far and away, coming back and commingling with other people. They're in closer quarters.
Lack of sleep can also play a major role. To get ahead of the game, Dr. Samuel says make sure vaccinations are up to date, make sure things around the house like TV remotes are sanitized, and have healthy meals and plenty of sleep.
The basics, hand washing before meals and after using the restroom, covering the mouth when sneezing or coughing.
To stop the spread of illness, make sure to keep your kids home if they are sick. Megan Bragg, WCNC Charlotte.
8:43 right now on WCNC Plus. Keep it right here. Majestic has the latest on your morning commute coming up in 2 minutes.
All right, let's spend this time to talk about rain chances. Today, nothing. Wednesday, zip, zilch, nada. Forget about it. Now, once you get to a late day on Thursday, there's the slightest chance that you could have a shower again on Friday, and then we have these real measly rain chances. I did bring up Saturdays a little bit because we're looking at the long range pattern, and I'm especially focusing in on this because I haven't showed this graphic yet here on WCNC Plus. We're talking about the weekend. It's Labor Day weekend, so a lot of you might be excited to get outside, and oftentimes we have some very hot Labor Day weekends where temperatures are rocking 90 plus. Well, we are not going to end the month of August, which, by the way, the month of August officially ends this Sunday, and we're not going to be seeing the 90s really until maybe later on in September, but truly, it's oftentimes about September 12th that we average our last 90-degree day here in the Charlotte area, so it really was a quick flip of the switch once we got to the new month of August compared to July, which is one of the hottest of all time. So I want to talk about a little bit more about our upcoming rain chances. First, I want to show you really the pieces on the board for right now. We have a few fronts that are just off towards the east, but we are way too dry right now, but we still have enough moisture in the mid-levels to give some on and off clouds that could be affecting us. Now, as far as the long range term, starting on Friday, we have this one front that tries to pass, and then this other one that's down towards the south. So that's going to give us a brief chance for rain, potentially, mainly in South Carolina on Friday, but likely we're staying dry. Saturday's changed up a little bit, because notice by the end of the day, we have our most widespread rain starting to creep across much of the state here in South Carolina, and this is long-range data, so it's a little bit chunky, meaning that it doesn't really show a lot of detail. By the time we get to tomorrow, we might have a better indication of what's happening Friday, and then by the time we get to Thursday, we'll actually have a sneak peek for at least half the weekend. Now, your Sunday, it looks like that nearby system could bring us some rain for the morning, and then things start to really erode and push their way off towards the east. So even though we do have a slight chance for rain on Monday, I think that that's pretty much going to be eliminating itself, allowing us to dry out nicely and could even see a little bit more sunshine. So something to look forward to. As far as the moisture values go, today and the next few days are going to be perfectly dry and comfortable. So we've been talking about this comfortable air that's in place. Well, that's not going anywhere. And that's also keeping our highs and our lows just a little subdued compared to where they should be this time of year. So September 18th is where we have a typical high of 82. And the next couple of days are actually going to be a little bit more like it is feeling like late September. So the last word I have to say is cooler. Get ready for a cooler forecast, not just for our highs, but our lows. By Thursday morning, we could be waking up or at least have a sunrise around 59 degrees. Haven't been that cool since late May. Let's get over to Majestic, see how our roads are looking. Good morning.
Good morning, everyone. Well, if you have someplace to be early this morning, boy, we have had a busy day across those area roadways. You can see I-77 there. It is moving rather slowly. We do have a lot of red still popping up on our live traffic maps. You can really see it here along I-77, especially those inbound lanes. This isn't anything that we're not used to, but still keep this in mind. A lot more people out on those roads now, especially out there on I-485 out towards Matthews. A handful of accidents still ongoing, breaking down a few of them for you. Want to show you what's going on right around Uptown. Multiple accidents. This one here is likely going to impact many people's morning commute. The left lane right now is currently blocked because there's a crash here. It's on Independence westbound at exit 243. That'll get you onto Highway 277 there. So just make sure you are mindful of that. That's going to make for a little bit of a slower morning commute. And then just to the west of that one, you can see it here. There's a crash on Kings Drive and Moorhead Street. All of that yellow just meaning there are currently ongoing slowdowns. The left lane is still blocked because of a crash. This one here is on Wilkinson Boulevard, eastbound at Donald Ross Road. This orange meaning slow moving traffic right around it. Those are the most important things that I'm watching for now. We'll have one more check on those roads coming up here in just a bit. Ben.
Majestic, thanks. A 10-year-old boy finds a precious wedding ring in a Costco parking lot, but it's how he found it and what he did with it that's restoring people's faith in humanity. Mike Bush reports.
Here, Kale, come here. Oh, you don't know how special you are to me.
Some hugs say hello. This one says thank you in a way words never could.
One more hug.
You're watching a reunion between two people who've never met.
But what could it be?
But they're bound by one extraordinary act of kindness. More on that in a moment, but first, let's go back to where this all started. In the parking lot of a Costco, there's always a sea of shopping carts and hurried lives. But where most people see pavement, one boy sees possibility.
He has been a finder of things since he was old enough to walk.
It's some sort of metal.
While other kids are looking at their phones,
It's a fly with a fungus.
10-year-old Cal Blank
It's a nut with a face.
likes to look down.
Well, I just have an eye for things that are shiny.
He finds pennies, nickels, quarters, lots of quarters. In Cal's world, the lost becomes found
somewhere in here,
and the tossed becomes treasure. So when Dad took Cal and his little brother to Costco on a Saturday morning, on the way back to the car, it was just another scavenger hunt.
He's got a color blindness, so he can, greens are yellow to him and blues or something, but he can spot things from a mile away.
And that day, something definitely caught his eye. It was shiny and too heavy to be a quarter.
I was like, well, why is it so heavy? So I just put it in my pocket. My pocket was like, meh, just hanging down.
Later that day, he showed his mom.
And he drops this ring in my hand, and my hand about hits the floor.
In her hand was someone's precious wedding ring, one so special its owners asked us not to show it.
This is a beautiful ring, and someone is missing this terribly.
Which brings us back to that reunion.
Like, legally, what do we have to do?
It turns out the ring had more than sparkle, it had a story.
I had all these emotions. I mean,
The diamond had shined for nearly 50 years of May and Alan Praetzel's marriage, and now it was gone.
it was one of the most awful feelings. We kept saying, it's a thing, it's a ring, but it was more than that.
But heartbreak soon turned to hope. Cal's mom had called Costco and learned that someone had indeed reported a missing ring. So Cal returned it, but not before wrapping it in compassion. It was polished, boxed, and paired with a letter from his heart.
I kind of wanted to keep it because it was pretty and shiny. I hope you relax now that you have your ring back. That is exactly right. I did. Thanks to you.
Where I know where he parks at Costco. And
Sometimes looking down is what lifts everyone else up, especially when you choose to do the right thing.
He is a extremely special kid, and you guys have to be so proud.
One young boy showing that while a diamond is forever, kindness will outshine them all.
Pretty amazing.
It just restores your faith in humanity.
Wow, a 50-year ring. The family says they are going to have the ring resized to make sure that it never slips off again. Good idea. Right now, Powerball offering its 7th largest jackpot in its history. The grand prize jumping to $815 million after nobody hit the jackpot in last night's drawing. The next chance to win is tomorrow night. The estimated cash value, nearly $368 million. 2 tickets sold in Georgia and Texas matched all 5 white balls, each winning $1 million. All right, 8:54 right now. We're going to take a quick break. Keep it right here on WCNC Plus. Coming up, Jane Monreal is taking over from our live Impact studio stream. She'll have all the breaking events over the course of the next couple of hours. You can see her and Carlene, her producer, getting ready. All that's coming your way. Keep it right here on WCNC Plus.
Well, good morning, everybody. Some areas seeing a little more sunshine than others, so a mix of clouds and sunshine, just depending on what the hour is going to be. 82 degrees for a high today, feeling great. That's the big deal. If you stepped outside, you can feel that cooler, drier air to kick off the morning, and really our highs and lows are going to be well below where they should be in the upper 60s, upper 80s for our lows and highs, and we will get back to that about day 10 of the forecast. That's why I wanted to show you this extended version here, because check out where our lows are going overnight tonight, dropping down to lower 60s, the upper 50s, either side of 60 the next few days. Majestic?
Tuesday morning, everyone. Those area roadways, they're dry, but boy, they are busy. 40 minutes if you're coming in from Gastonia this morning, and just over 30 if you are heading into Charlotte from Matthews. There's a live camera look overlooking beautiful uptown, but you can tell traffic is flowing a little bit better than it was when I saw you just about 30 minutes ago. Up and down I-77, still seeing those typical slowdowns and a handful of accidents, so make sure you are really taking it easy there, especially on Providence with an ongoing wreck.